Think that Montgomery County's real estate market is just like any other? Wait until you hear how 2023 stats differ from 2022. Can you guess the biggest change? For those of you who don't know, I'm Chris Nelson, local real estate agent here in Montgomery County, helping buyers and sellers achieve their real estate dreams. Now, in today's video, I want to share with you or unpack some of the numbers in the real estate market so that you can really get an understanding of what's going on. Not only that, I'm going to tell you what I think we might expect to see when it comes to the real estate market in Montgomery County in 2024. So let's get started. First and foremost, let's go over the overall sales volume here in Montgomery County when we compare 2023 to 2022. Now, the overall sales volume is, if you were to review all of the homes that sold in the county and tally up all of those sale prices, the number that equates to is the number that I'm referring to. And in 2023, Montgomery County saw about $3.9 billion in real estate sales. And although that sounds like a lot of money, which it is, the year before, Montgomery County actually saw $4.9 billion roughly in real estate sales. So easy math, in 2023, we saw about $1 billion less in sales, which is about a difference in 19%. Now, one might assume that the real estate market is declining based on those numbers, $1 billion less in overall volume. Well, if you take a look at the actual units that sold, meaning how many homes actually sold in Montgomery County, well, that number decreased. And in 2023, we had just shy of 8,100 homes sold. As a matter of fact, that number was 8,095 homes sold. But the previous year, we had almost 11,000 homes sell in Montgomery County, and that exact number was 10,615 homes. So if you take a look at what's going on, there were less overall sales, meaning that the overall sales volume would be skewed simply because of that. But if you go and take a step further and you actually compare the average sale prices from 2023 to 2022, well, that paints a picture, because the average sale price in Montgomery County in 2023 actually went up by about $29,000 or 6.25%. What I mean by that is, in 2023, the average home sale price was right around $496,000, but when you compare that to the year prior in 2022, the average sale price was just below $467,000. So again, about $29,000 difference. To add some context, that means if you bought a home in 2022 without doing anything, on average, you gained about $30,000 in equity. But what about the days on market? Now, days on market is the amount of time that it takes for a home to sell from the time that it becomes an active listing to the time the seller signs off and accepts a contract. Now, these numbers are actually relatively similar between 2022 and 2023, and there's only a variance of 2 days. In 2023, it took the average seller 21 days to sell their home, where compared to the year prior in 2022, sellers actually were able to sell their home a little bit faster and were able to find a buyer in an average of 19 days. So again, roughly 3 weeks in Montgomery County is what it would take to sell a home. So theoretically, roughly 3 weeks is what it took in 2022 as well as 2023 to go under contract on a home in Montgomery County. And I'm happy to say that both years, sellers actually got at least what they were asking or more on an average basis. In 2023, the average ratio between list price to sale price was 100.9%, and the year prior was 101.6%. So to use easy numbers, if you listed your home for sale for $100,000 last year, chances are you were going to get right around $109,000 for your sale price. And the year before that, same numbers, a $100,000 list price, more than likely the home would have sold for right around $101,600, just shy of $102,000. Now, one thing that I've noticed that has really changed over the last few years are the types of financing or the means in which people use to buy their homes. In 2023, roughly 64% of all sales were done using a conventional loan, and 24% of those home sales were cash. Less than 1% were VA and FHA. Compared to the previous year, numbers are actually relatively similar when it comes to FHA and VA, meaning that FHA and VA equated for less than 1% of financing options for 2022, but 67% of home transactions were conventional, and roughly 24% of home transactions in 2022 were cash. So when you hear cash is king, it is, and there are still a lot of cash transactions going on, but a majority of them were conventional. Now, something that I found when doing this research is if you were to go back to 2019, and the reason I'm using 2019 is because that was the last year we conducted real estate from January to December without any interruptions due to COVID. Well, in that year, 2019, we actually had twice the amount of transactions that closed using an FHA or a VA loan, right? So where that brings me is to what does all of this mean for you? If you're thinking about buying or selling a home in Montgomery County, first and foremost, hopefully you download either my buyer guide or my seller guide, which is free to use simply by accessing the link in the description. But as I was saying, what does all of this mean to you, or what can we expect to see in the housing market as we move through 2024? So here are just a few of my speculations. I do believe that we're going to start to see more inventory, meaning more homes for sale. Throughout 2023, we were teetering somewhere right around 1 month of housing inventory. That number actually climbed to about 1.5 months of inventory towards the tail end of 2023. I do believe that as we make our way through the spring and into the summer market, we're going to see somewhere between 2 and 3 months worth of inventory, meaning buyers will theoretically have more options to choose from. Maybe. I also think that interest rates are going to continue to drop in 2024. I think it's quite possible that we will see rates in the mid to low 5%. And if that does happen, well, we're going to see more buyers enter the market as well. A lot of buyers were put on the sideline when interest rates went up. But if interest rates do come back down, we will see more buyers enter the market. So even as inventory climbs to 2 to 3 months worth of inventory, buyers are still going to eat up that inventory because there's not enough to meet the demand. Lastly, I do think that we will see more FHA and VA loans come back into the equation. Maybe not as many as we saw in 2019, but right now in current time, FHA and VA are actually the more cost-effective way to purchase a property using a mortgage. There's a pretty significant difference in the payment because of the interest that comes with a conventional loan versus an FHA loan. And I'm comparing them as if they're both 30-year mortgages. And lastly, I think that we're going to see more bidding wars because of those things that were just mentioned. Yes, inventory will climb, but it's not going to climb to a point where it's going to solve the demand that's pent up. Interest rates, they're attractive enough, but if they come back down, you see where I'm going. So ultimately, if you're thinking about buying or selling in Montgomery County in 2024, I do think that it is going to be an interesting year. And if there's anything that I or my team can do to be of value, well, let us know. And with that said, take care.